Hi guys, Donald here and a warm welcome back to the channel. Today I'm partnering with the folks at Quaker who have just launched a brand new oat beverage in the dairy alternative category. So I'm going to give it a whirl using my blueberry and oat pancake recipe. Now these pancakes are ones I've shared with you guys before, but my son Noah devours them, so we've been making them a lot more recently. And the best thing is you can make them using Quaker Oat Beverage as a swap for almond milk or dairy. And the great thing about this product is that it's really rich and creamy, so it's a perfect alternative. The pancakes themselves are going to get their rise from egg whites, which leave you with perfectly fluffy blueberry pancakes. Right, it's time to get cooking, and the best thing about this blueberry pancake recipe is that it only takes a few ingredients, so pop on over and let's have a look. So we've got some oat flour, I've got the Quaker Oat Beverage, I'm using the unsweetened kind, we've got some chia seeds, and we've got some eggs, and to top this all off, I have some blueberries and bananas. And I've got some baking powder as well. Now, the key aspect of this recipe is the separating of eggs. So I'm gonna separate out 4 large free-range eggs, whites in one bowl, yolks in the other, and the whites are gonna be what gives us a really great lift and a fluffy finish to these gorgeous pancakes. So let's get cracking. And that's probably the hardest part of this recipe. I've got my egg yolks, I've got my egg whites, and now it's just a case of making a sort of a slurry or a paste or a batter with the egg yolks, the flour, the oat flour, a little bit of baking powder and the chia seeds. I say it's like a slurry because it's totally not what you'd expect for a pancake recipe, but it's the egg whites which we're gonna whisk up quite vigorously until they get nice and soft, kind of white, voluptuous peaks. Once you've got them at that point, they're gonna give this sort of slurry batter a much more beautiful and luxurious finish. So take your time with this, we're gonna mix up this batter and then we're gonna whisk up these egg whites. Come on down. Now typically when I make these pancakes I use regular dairy milk, but this oat beverage is a fantastic dairy alternative and it's plant-based, so it gives you a lovely creamy texture into this recipe. So I'm gonna add 1 cup of the oat beverage. This is the original unsweetened version. 1 cup goes straight in this mix and we're gonna get this lovely pancake batter going. So this is what I'm talking about. You get a very kind of a stiff looking pancake batter, but this is going to be transformed completely as soon as you add the egg whites in here. The egg whites are going to give it lift, it's also going to give it a lightness, and it's going to ensure our lovely fluffy pancakes in the pan. Now for the egg whites, it is imperative that you whisk them up in a clean bowl. You can do this with an electric whisk, but with only 4 egg whites, it'll take you just a few minutes just to get them nice and fluffy. You need to do them in a clean bowl specifically because if there's any touch of grease in there, you won't get that lightness and the volume that you would get with your egg whites if you had done them in a clean bowl. So we have a clean bowl and now it's time to get these nice, light and fluffy. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Beautiful, stiff egg whites that should hold their shape, and the only way that you can check that is to stick the bowl over your head and ensure it doesn't fall out. I got a bit nervous there. Right, now that we have our egg whites looking pretty good like this, I'm gonna take out a good generous spoonful of that, even a little bit more, just to loosen out this mixture. And by loosening this out, it'll allow you to incorporate the rest and keep as much air in there as possible. So don't be too worried about this, we're just gonna get in there and mix this up as rough as we need to be. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. You now see a much more smooth consistency to that batter. So by doing this, by adding that little bit of egg white in there, it'll allow you to mix through the rest without it being stodgy and allowing it to keep as much air in there as possible. So the rest goes in, and using a spatula, I am just gonna gently fold this in to keep as much air in there as possible. So take your time with this. Okay, this is what we're talking about. This is exactly what you're after. A really light, almost souffle looking pancake batter that looks absolutely gorgeous from the egg whites in there. Of course, we've got the oat beverage, which is gonna give you lovely consistency. And now this is ready to be fried off in the frying pan. So I'm gonna do these in batches and we're gonna get stacks and stacks of pancakes. So let's get cooking. My friends, we are in a good place. Have a look at this. I've got a stack of pancakes here. I've got hot pancakes off the pan, so we're just gonna transfer these out. Now, at this point, you can take these in any direction you like. I actually make these and keep them in little resealable bags that Noah will take to the park with him, which he absolutely loves, so he'll devour them even cold. But if you want to make an epic breakfast feast, I would say that you serve them up with a dollop of coconut yogurt, some berries over the top, a little bit of bee pollen, all those beautiful things, and even some bananas as well, which is what we're going to do. But before we do that, I want to dive into these beautiful pancakes and just show you how beautifully light and fluffy they are. I mean, remember, this is not using any flour, this is oat flour, so it's a little bit denser, but because we have the egg whites and we have that oat beverage in there, you're going to get a lovely light and fluffy texture. So let's give it a go. It's the combination of the oat flour and the oat beverage as well in here. And of course those blueberries, which I now have all over my hands. They taste absolutely fantastic and they are so easy to make, so I hope you give them a go. Now, before we sign off, as always, I will leave the full details of the recipe for these beautiful pancakes in the box below. And I would love you to leave me a comment letting me know how you would use the Quaker Oat beverage. My friends, enjoy your pancakes and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.